Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Profitable Personal Training webinar. Really excited about this. If we haven't met before, my name is Brandon. I'm the founder of Fitness Pro Mentors, and I have a personal training gym called Strata Internal Performance. Fitness Pro Mentors, we're 100% committing to helping personal trainers like you 2 to 3x your personal training practice. I wholeheartedly believe that one-on-one personal training is a beautiful art, and you require the expert status and the position to be able to make a career at this. Things are getting more expensive, and at the end of the day, you deserve to have the time that you want, the freedom in your life, and to know that you can retire. As such, this webinar is 100% committed to you, personal trainers. We're doing everything we can to make sure you have all the resources possible to crush your personal training career, make as much money as possible, retire one day, and ultimately, if you want, open your own personal training studio. When we get to my presentation in an hour, I'm going to go over some of our student results to show some of the real people that are getting incredible results. But I got a really exciting day planned for you. In a moment, I'm going to have my main man, my operations manager, Taylor Pleschberger, and he's going to talk to you about honoring your time and making as much time as possible for yourself and getting as much for it. After that, we're going to have one of our lead mentors and one of our main social media gurus, Mr. Glen Owen, going over everything sales systems. Listen, the three of us, this entire business, we've learned a ton about sales over the last few years from many courses, incredible resources, and Glen's going to share some quick tips to help you get going and really reevaluating your sales process. And I'm honored because I'm going to talk to you about some of the audience growth strategies that we've used to grow our business, and I'm calling it the 100K audience growth strategy. So please sit tight. Welcome to the webinar, and Taylor will be with you in just a moment.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name's Taylor. Like Brandon said, I'm going to be chatting with you guys today about time and value. So these two things are extremely important to me. When I first got into the industry, I'm going to tell you a bit of a story. I worked at a facility that had quite a few veteran trainers. There was trainers there that had been in the industry for 20 plus years, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. This is where I want to be. I'm going to learn a lot. It was a high-end facility. I thought there was a lot of opportunity for growth and to become a trainer and make this a career, which was the whole goal for me. Coming out of post-secondary, taking some more education programs, which I'm sure some of you have been involved with as well. I thought, this is great. This could be a career for a long time. This could be a place for me to establish myself and kind of make a go with this and be where I want to be. But I learned pretty quickly there was some things that were common in the industry, common amongst trainers as a profession that was kind of concerning for me. I wasn't sure how I could make this a long-term career with the way that things seemed to operate. I didn't realize that this was the way the industry was. I thought coming out of school, okay, we're exercise professionals. We're supposed to be represented that way. But in practice, in the real world, my experience early on, it did not seem that way. But I'm here to tell you there's a way to improve it, and it doesn't have to be that way. So when I was first starting to work, these trainers, they'd been doing it for a long time. And I thought, wow, these guys are full. They've got 30 plus hours of clients. I'd come in and say, oh, so-and-so, that's awesome. You've got a full schedule. I'm obviously just getting into this and kind of building up my ability to work with clients and kind of work a full day and kind of know what that's all about, working with different clients, getting experience like that. And they said, oh, well, I know it says I've got 32 hours in my schedule, but I'm probably going to work 22 or 23 of those hours. And I was like, well, what do you mean? 22 or 23 hours? You have 30 hours in your schedule. Well, I usually, when I come in the morning, I get a few messages, text messages from clients or calls saying that they're not going to come in today, or things are busy at work, they're not going to show up, and that's just how it is. You plan for 30 and maybe you do 22, 23, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. That's just how things go. Well, that was not confidence inducing for me. Just getting started in the industry, I was motivated, I was hyped up, I was wanting to work with people, wanting to help people, but I wanted to be treated like a professional and not just someone that you just call and say, hey, I'm not showing up today. See you next time. That was not what I was looking for. So that was a little concerning. I had a little bit of fear there. And it really took some time before I got to understand and got to experience things in a different way. So I'm here to talk about valuing your time, and that this is not the route that you have to go down as a personal trainer. You do not have to accept the fact that you've got 30 hours of clients in your schedule and you're only going to be doing 22 or 23 of those hours. So why this is important, number one, is that not so much that clients were canceling. Things happen. There is times where clients don't show up or they tell you they're not going to make it. The bigger part is the piece where the time was not valued in both parties. The trainer said, oh, they're not showing up today. That's okay. No big deal. Well, they've just lost an hour of their time that they could have planned to either try and work on their professional development, whether that's education, communication, marketing, leads, trying to get more clients and to improve their client roster. That hour they were just scrambling, or they just sit on their phone and not do anything for the hour. And I would say, well, at least you're getting paid for that hour that they committed to signing up for you for. And they didn't tell you more than whatever the cancellation policy is in terms of a time frame, 24 hours, 36, 48 hours, whatever it is. Oh, well, I don't like to charge clients. I don't like to kind of get into that side of things, and I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I've been working with this client for 5 or 6 years. I don't want to, it'll be kind of awkward. We're kind of friends now. I don't want anything to ruffle the feathers. Well, that's not an optimal professional relationship. I think that's fair to say. But these kind of conversations are not easy. My first tip, biggest thing to start off with, is when you have a new client, set the expectations right away. Establish it right from the front, your professional expectations of them as a client, and what does the client expect from you as a service provider. And if there's any confusion or concerns, hash that out right then and there. That is the number one thing you can do, and it prevents a lot of other issues in the future. And if someone does say later on, you know what, I can't make this session less than 24 hours and it comes up, well, you've had that conversation. And if you didn't, make sure that you're confident about it, that you can talk about it. For existing clients, a lot of trainers have been working with clients for a long time. Maybe you've had that type of relationship that I mentioned where someone canceled last minute and you don't charge them. This is something that you can work on in terms of communication. First things first is reevaluate how you're working with that client when they're here. Are you being professional? Are you communicating professionally? Are you talking about your personal life a little bit too much? Are you talking about their personal life too much? Make sure that before these types of conversations come up, that you're providing value for the service that they are paying for. Make sure that that is established first, because if you just start having that conversation saying the next day they come in, you're talking about your dog or your kid or something completely different. And then at the end of the session, you say, hey, remember last time you didn't pay, you didn't show up, and you canceled less than 24 hours, I'm going to have to charge you for that. Well, that might be a little bit of a shock to their system. So if you do have a client or clients that you maybe haven't had the best professional approach with from a session perspective, cancellations, rescheduling, that kind of thing, make sure that you're providing a high quality service above and beyond what they're paying for already. Make sure that the value is there, and then begin to massage that into the conversation and make sure that that gets established. So have a plan. That's the biggest thing. For existing clients, have a plan. And for new clients, set the expectations right off the bat. And those are two big things that you can do. So I think those two things are extremely important for trainers that are in the industry that have clients where they're noticing, say at the end of their month, they're seeing, okay, I did 115 hours this month. I had 6 cancellations. I only charged for one of those 5 cancellations that were less than 24 hours or 48 hours, whatever your policy is, that I didn't get paid for. Well, if 2 of those you did in a month, say you charge $100 an hour, that's $200. That's $200 in a month. Think about what that is in a year. $200 a month, multiply that by 10, we've got $2,000. In a year, say that's $2,200. That's a lot of money. When you add that up over a year, over 5 years, like I said, some of these trainers had been trainers in the industry for 20 years. That's a lot of money over a 20-year period. Just for really asking for what is expected of the relationship. So really make sure that you're not afraid to talk about these things. Professionals in other fields talk about that stuff. You don't hire a lawyer and cancel last minute and expect that just to be fine. Or you miss your dentist appointment. That's not going to just fly under the radar. We don't want to do things in a kind of brash manner. Obviously, this is something that takes time to get better at, like anything. Communication is a skill. Make sure that you're working on that. Practice talking to a family member, your spouse, talk to a friend. Practice these things. These are skills that we have to get good at. This is your career. This is your profession. If this is what you want to do full time and you want to be making $100,000 or more a year, and you want to be doing that by charging a reasonable amount for how you value yourself, say it's $120 an hour. You're doing 25 hours of clients a week, and you're making that $100,000 a year. You can raise a family, you can have a house, you can have a car, you can do the activities you want. Those are the things that you're going to have to do. You got to work on those things. You have to get good at it. And at first, it can be a little nerve-wracking, or it can feel a little bit awkward for some. What I can say is learning from people like Brandon and Glen as well, because I've known Glen for a long time at multiple facilities. And both of our careers and abilities and approaches have developed to a point where this is a conversation that I don't want to say is easy, but is very straightforward, because we know our value. We work hard to provide a high quality service, especially here at Strata Internal Performance, where we both work out of in our brick and mortar facility here. It's just something that is expected right from the start with new clients and existing clients. This is something that I worked on. This is something that Brandon worked on with me when he was mentoring me. He still mentors me, of course, but when I was getting into the industry and I started working with him here at Strata, this was something that was really critical. And it wasn't just, oh, I want Strata to make more money. This was that Brandon really respected me as an individual and me as a professional, and wanted to make sure that I was valued for my time and that I was being compensated for it as well. So why I'm telling you this is I genuinely want you to make more money, because your time is valuable. So that's the first part of today's conversation in terms of valuing your time. The second part, which is really critical, which was an issue for me early on and I'm still working on, is scheduling. Really setting boundaries with your schedule and making sure that you're setting up your schedule in a way that values your time, both work and your personal time. So for some maybe watching this, it can slip out from time to time. I am a fan of fishing. This is not an activity that is small or that you can just do for an hour and go. So this is something that I like to do. You might like going on hikes. You might like camping. You might like doing other activities. You might like traveling. These things take time. It's important for you that you set up your schedule in a way that it values the time in the things that you like to do. So how I set up my schedule is I have my days structured in a certain way where I take on clients within a certain window, and before and after that, I'm not going to book a client in. Someone new, they want a certain time, well, it has to fit within that window. There has been times probably 2 or 3 years ago, where if a client was able to come in and they wanted 9 p.m. and I was starting at 7 a.m. that morning, well, that was an hour in my schedule. I said, sure, I can see you at that time. And I was burning the candle at both ends. I was here at the facility at times for 50 plus hours a week. Not all those hours with clients, having gaps in my schedule between appointments. Over time, one of the biggest things that has improved my both my professional career and also my personal well-being, which is obviously important for all of us. We enjoy working with clients and we enjoy working in a professional environment, and it's very fulfilling working with people and working with our colleagues if you work in a facility with others. But it is a something that takes a lot of time, and we want to make sure that you enjoy things that you want to do outside of your career and how your career benefits that and kind of coincides with it. So I was burning the candle at both ends. I was working way too many hours. I was here Monday to Saturday. I was here morning till night with 2-hour gaps in between appointments, sometimes 4 or 5 hours between appointments. And it just was not an efficient way to operate. It was not working out very well, is what I'll say. Long term, it wouldn't have been a sustainable thing. And you know what? This was something that Brandon brought up to me quite early on, saying, hey, I see in your schedule you got clients at 7, 8, 9 a.m. and then you're seeing clients still at 7, 8, 9 p.m. That's probably not going to be the most sustainable thing for you long term. And he was right. Over time, this was something I had to work at, but I slowly tightened the schedule, had certain hours on certain days. I don't have the same schedule each day. Some days I'll start earlier and finish earlier. Other days I'll start a bit later and work a bit later. And so what I'm really trying to say is you don't have to follow my schedule. You don't have to follow Brandon's schedule or Glen's schedule. We each have our own schedules that works for us. Brandon's got the 2 kiddos at home and some different responsibilities. Glen has different responsibilities. I have technically different responsibilities as well and different things that I like to do. So really it's about picking a schedule that works for you and sticking to it. Don't just be willy-nilly with your time. Your time is valuable. Don't just take on a client at 7 p.m. just because, oh, I'm at 19 hours. I need that extra hour. Well, I'm done at 3 that day. I don't usually work past that because I start at 6 a.m. But you know what? I need that extra hour at 7. This is something where you got to work with this client in terms of communication and trying to find another day that works for them. And if it doesn't, don't budge. Don't just say, no, can't see you at that time. Doesn't work for me. Can't see you. Work on that to try and figure out, is there another time that works for them? And when you're valuing your time and valuing your service and being confident in your delivery, people will make time to fit into your schedule. If they want to work with you and you've set it up where you are the right fit for them and they are the right fit for you as a client, set that up and you can make that work. But if for whatever reason that doesn't work, that's where having good colleagues within your facility, if that's something you have, if you have staff and if you're working alone and you're opening a facility, that's something you should get on. Get colleagues to work with you. That was a big thing for Brandon. He was burning the candle at both ends. His schedule was completely maxed out. And early on, that was a big opportunity for me to prove myself and show Brandon that I could do this. And obviously, he helped me tremendously in many aspects to get to this point. But his schedule was just so full that he needed to bring on people and have people working here at Stratus. So if you're someone who's got a facility and you're maxing out and you're burning the candle at both ends, think about that. Potentially looking at bringing on some staff, even having them join a study group, having a mastermind session, something where they're coming into your world, because having your schedule filled to the max is not a sustainable thing long term. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And thanks for listening. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And one more thing, the first 3 people that reach out and say time in the comments down below, time triage, time management, I need help with my time, please comment down below or reach out to Brandon, Glen, or myself, and let's set up a time to chat. Just the first 3 people, we'll chat for a half hour, see where we can help your time management and see where we can we can improve your schedule and get you making more money for less time, improving your value. Thanks for chatting, and hope to talk to you guys soon.
What's up, fitness pro mentors? You might have seen me on this lovely page before. Brandon and I go live every other Monday, every other Tuesday for the Minds on Muscle show. We talk about how you can 2 and 3 times your business. I love doing stuff like this. If I didn't mention already, my name is Glenn, and today I'm talking to you about smarter sales. I love selling. I used to hate it. I'm gonna tell you all about why very, very soon. But I'm gonna share a whole bunch of information with you today about how you can 2 and 3 times your ability to close your sales. Openly sharing a whole bunch of information I've learned from a whole bunch of different mentors over the years. And so if you want to know any more about some of the stuff that I'm sharing with you today, please reach out, let me know. We're happy to share with you those resources so you can make it rain. So with all that in mind, let's go into smarter sales. Let's do it. Oh, let me click. Hey, we got it. Who is this guy? This guy is me. And this is me before I learned how to actually make a sales meeting work for me. When I first started, look at that face. When I first started in the industry, I hated doing sales. It made me nervous. I didn't like talking about money. I didn't understand the value I didn't understand the value. I was bringing people and it just made me really, really nervous. All I really wanted to do was train people. No one ever told me that I was gonna have to actually talk and sell myself to these people and have them commit thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a year to me in order to do some work with me. And so the first time I had to do some sales, I was surprised and I was shocked because I thought someone else was gonna do that for me. And it left me feeling lost, apprehensive, scared, nervous. I was judging myself all over. I kept stumbling over all my words. And I'm willing to bet a lot of people watching right now probably experience the same thing. So today, I want to show you where I am. I am now this guy. I love doing sales. It's actually one of my favorite parts of the job. Believe it or not, I like selling and having sales meetings just as much as I like doing the actual technical training with my clients. I'm going to tell you why. It's because I learned how to actually have an amazing sales conversation in such a way that the person that I'm in front of feels empowered, I feel empowered, and we really come to a yes, this makes sense. I want to do this with you, Glen, or a, you know what, Glen, thanks for your time, but this isn't what I thought. And I'll tell you what, most of the time, 95% of the time, it's a Glen, I love what I'm hearing. I want to work with you. And so I'm going to share with you today some hot tips, all the things that I think most exercise professionals are missing the boat on when they are having their sales meetings. Let's jump into it. So first and foremost, do you have a flow? Do you, when you go through your sales meeting, do you actually know what the steps are in your process? Do you know what you're going to do next? Most people don't have a flow for their sales process. Now, we have one that we've learned and we've put together through a whole bunch of different resources. But today, what I really want to share with you are some of the different things that you can do to start framing your sales meetings differently so that they work out in your favor, so that more of the clients that you see, the prospects that you see, you convert more of them, way more of them. And I'm going to tell you something. You're going to feel really, really great about the process and how you do it with what I'm going to share with you. And so today I'm going to be talking about the way most people have been doing sales versus the way you ought to be doing sales. And there's three main different topics we're going to be covering: the commodity versus the relationship. Are you pushing or are you nurturing? And are you running your sales meetings like it's the wild, wild west, or are you setting up a really strong foundation for them? So let's jump into it. Commodity relationship versus a professional relationship. How do most exercise professionals learn to sell? Usually as a commodity. What do you think you're selling? Stop for a second. Think about it. Don't look at the PowerPoint. Think about it for a moment. What are you selling? Most people say, well, I'm selling personal training, or I'm selling my nutrition plan, or whatever that is. Might not be the best thing that you want to be selling. Your assessment tool for a lot of personal trainers, at least this is the way that I was taught when I worked at a big box gym. Your assessment tool is a selling tool first and foremost. When I used to do my assessments initially, I would use those purely just to sell someone on working with me, not actually using the data that I collected in that assessment to actually make better choices and decisions for that person's health. Have you done this? Have you made this error? I would often try to sell packages, 10, 20, 50 session blocks. And I was always pushed by my sales manager to sell those 50 session blocks. Sell them, get those people locked in for the long term. That's what you want to do, Glen. That's how you make money. Maybe. It might not be long lasting though. And this is a big one. Tell me if you've experienced this before. Praying that at the end of that session block, the 10 sessions, the 20, the 50, whatever it is, you're just praying. You're praying that this person's going to keep training with you. And how many times have you had it where it's been 20 sessions, you think it's going well, you say, hey, John, hey, Mary, are you ready to put another payment through? And they're like, oh, it's great, but I'll tell you what, when I'm ready, I'm going to call you. And you know what? They never call you. It never happens. Or rather, it rarely happens. Well, what can we do to start shifting this in your favor? Here's what I'm going to say. First and foremost, stop selling your product like in sessions as a commodity, because what's going to happen, the people that are buying from you are going to see you as a number. They're going to do some window shopping. They're going to say, well, you cost $70 an hour, that person costs $50 an hour, and that person costs $30 an hour. And instead of looking at the actual value that you bring, they're going to see you purely as a number, and that's how they're going to start making their decision. We do not want people to be buying from us as if we're a commodity, a product that can just be taken off the shelf. We want to start framing how we present ourselves to the prospects in front of us, that we want to be their lifelong exercise consultant, their lifelong exercise specialist. We don't want them to think that there's going to be 20 sessions and they're gone and they're done. We want to frame it to them such that we want to be in their world and help them for however long we can. And let me tell you something. You know how this frees you up? At this point in time, it doesn't matter if they're going to see you once a week or twice a week or 3 times a week or 4 times a week. You now have the ability, based on their schedule, their finances, what they can invest, you have the ability to now help them find any different way of working with you. So if they can only afford to work with you for an hour once a week, well, guess what? Because you're going to be their lifelong specialist, you're happy to do that. And if they make more money, they get a promotion, they can work with you twice a week, great. You can now offer that as well. Or if they don't have a lot of money, they can only see you once every 2 weeks, you might say, great, listen, I can help you with that. Let me be your lifelong exercise specialist. Let's set this up so that I can teach you how to do some exercises. You can find out a little bit more on your own. I'll send you some things to read, and then we'll continue building you up every other week to continue helping you with your process. You're no longer locking these people into packages. They don't feel trapped. You don't feel trapped, but now they see you as someone valuable that can help them grow with a plan in place. And as they get better, maybe they see you a little bit less, but they stay in your schedule now instead of running off when they run out of money. This is going to be a huge, powerful tool to help increase the value of these clients in your schedule over the course of your lifetime. The second thing here, talking about using your assessments, first of many, as a guide for your decisions and to show clients how you're going to help them and how they're going to progress as they go through working with you. The assessment should be a tool where you collect all the data information you need to help your client make the best decisions. And here's the great thing. If you have assessments that take place every 3 months, every 4 months, every 5 months, this is a great opportunity for you to collect more valuable information so you keep progressing your clients, ultimately adding more value to what it is you do. So guess what? When it's time to raise your rates, they see how valuable you are, But also, by having these reassessments programmed here every 3 to 4 months, it gives you a great opportunity to touch base with them. Hey, John, we just did this reassessment last week. I'm really excited to show you what I found. Now, before I get too far into it, I know we've been seeing each other twice a week. You've been doing really great. I want to give you an opportunity to let me know, is there anything you feel like you need to change about our professional relationship? I'm happy to increase the frequency if you need, or decrease the frequency, do more educating with you. Tell me what's going to help you feel like you're getting the most time and the most value out of our time together. And this periodic reassessment is just going to help these relationships with you nourish and flourish over time. These people, by having them see you as a professional consultant, as someone who they're in a relationship with, means they're going to respect you and your time, and you're going to be able to make best use of these assessment tools that you have. The last thing here is that you're going to be both engaging in an ongoing relationship that can be molded over time to meet their financial, personal, and scheduling needs. I've already talked about this a little bit, but at the end of the day, this is all about the relationship with the client, not them buying stuff from you. And if you can position yourself as a professional that's going to help them, boy, do amazing things happen. Let's talk about tip number 2. Topic number 2 here, pushing people in sales versus nurturing. Now, this happened to me a lot when I was working at this big box gym. When clients would give me objections, my sales manager would say, Glen, overcome the objections at all costs. Find a way to make the sale. Show them how much money they're going to be saving by doing XYZ thing. Show them how they're going to be able to da-da-da-da. And it was all about pushing for the sale. That sucks. Because you know what happens? People end up buying emotionally, and they don't actually justify what you're presenting them with some kind of objectivity. And you know what happens? People realize how much money they're spending after they meet with you and they purchase sessions. They're going to get upset. They're going to be a little frustrated, and sure, they might not necessarily show it. But then after that 10-second package is up, guess what? They're not coming back. So if you're selling to emotions and making the client not feel good about who they are, not feeling okay, making them feel vulnerable and selling on that, that's going to be a very short-lived relationship, and they're not going to like how you're making them feel. If you're in a consulting role, well, guess what? There should never be any issues about how you're making them feel, because people don't feel like they're boxed into a situation. If you want to learn more about the psychology of this kind of stuff, again, we have some great resources, but there's an amazing book called TA Today that talks about these kind of things. And I do encourage most everybody to read that book, because it's going to give them a lot of insight in how people communicate and why you should make someone feel bad and buy from you in that state. The money's not there, help them find it. right? How many times have you been coached on this from your sales manager to help people find the money, to make it go through and make it happen? That's not going to end well. People are just buying emotionally again and not really objectively buying, and that's just going to be a really short-lived relationship. Oh, this one's a biggie. How many times have you been in a sales consultation or sales meeting yourself, whether you're going to buy a car or you're looking at maybe a service for your son or your daughter, or maybe you're helping your parents in a retirement home, and you sit in that room with those people, it's all shut in, there's no real sunlight, and you feel trapped, and you feel like you're stuck in a room, and you want to get the heck out of there, but you're being polite, and you're sitting there, you're stewing in your own sweat. How does that feel? Do you really want to purchase anything from these people? Probably not. That's a terrible feeling for everybody. The last thing here, locking people into long-term packages, no matter what. Let me ask you a question. What happens when you are 20 sessions to a 50 session package with these people and you don't like working with them? How does that make you feel? What's it like to look at your schedule and be like, I love these 4 clients, but this 5th one, man, I don't want to work with them. Does that feel good? No. Why would you want to commit yourself to that? Sure, I guess money's nice, but man, you can't wait to get out of there, and the client's going to feel that, then they're not going to be able to wait to get out of there. It's going to be a really solid relationship. But there's good news. There's things that you can do instead of pushing people. It's nurturing. And if you've seen any amount of our content here at Fitness Pro Mentors, you know we're really big on nurturing people. What is nurturing people? It's making them feel comfortable. It's making them feel welcome. It's not trapping them into anything. It's having them feel like they can express themselves and be themselves with you. And that way, they're going to be able to get the most out of their time with you. They're going to get the most out of that sales meeting. And you're going to be able to have a real honest and open conversations with these people and really find out, yes, I think it's great, Glenn. I really want to work with you, or no, I don't think this is a good fit. And that's kind of what you want at the end of the day. When you're nurturing and when you're selling from this place, prospects understand their emotional drivers, but they are going to end up deciding objectively. They're going to know why they're there to see you. Yeah, Glenn, I'm frustrated because I have back pain and discomfort, and I'm worried I'm not going to be able to enjoy my retirement. Or, yeah, Glenn, I get what you're saying. I'll be honest with you. I'm a little nervous about going to the beach this year because I'm not confident the way I'm going to look in my bathing suit, and that really makes me feel uncomfortable. But people are going to end up deciding objectively whether this process makes sense or not, because you're going to go over what it's going to cost with them. You're going to go over what the requirements are going to be if they actually want to get to where they want to go. You're going to have it really painted black and white for them in terms of what they can expect and what they're going to need to do, and what they can expect for their return on investment based on the prices and the money you're sharing with them and how much it's going to cost. And from that space, when they know what they have to invest to get what they want, and they say yes, that's a big relief for you and for them, because now you know they're in it to win it, and they're in it because they can afford it and it's going to make sense for them, versus just needing to do it because they feel like they have to right now, and if they don't, their head's going to explode, and doesn't feel good. When people buy objectively and they know what's at stake emotionally, they're all in. And it makes working with you a pleasure, and it makes working with you a lot easier, and it makes the selling process really, really smooth. This is a huge one, and I can't stress this enough. Having multiple destinations for a client to make the relationship fit their budget. It's not about selling 3 sessions a week or 2 sessions a week or whatever number you decide. It's really about how can I make the services that I have work for this person based on their goals. And I'll be honest, sometimes it might be intangible. Like someone might say, Glenn, I can spend a half hour with you once a month. Can you help my back pain? Probably not. Not with exercise. I don't have a little pill for that. I don't have the resources for that. But if someone says to you or says to me, hey, Glenn, I have $700 a month I can put towards this. How can we make this work? Well, listen, if you know that you can deliver a service that's going to help them with that goal, and you've got different destinations to help make that budget work, you're laughing. That's great. Because if I know someone's got a budget of $700 a month or $1,500 a month, I can find a way to make that work for them, whether it's seeing me twice a week for half an hour or 3 times a week for an hour. And as long as they're clear on what they can get for that and how fast they're going to go, that's awesome. You're laughing because you can keep this person in your world. Now you can help this person, and they're not going to feel bad, and you're not going to feel bad about it because you've set up the expectations of what they can expect. It's absolutely going to change your sales process. Figure out together if this is a good fit. with no attachments of the outcome of the meeting is going to take a lot of stress off your back. Because what are you thinking about a lot of times? Got to sell, got to make money, got to do this, got to do that. You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself and inadvertently putting a lot of pressure on the person that's in front of you that you're trying to see, is during the sales meeting this going to be a good fit or not? Well, listen, if you can drop that, if you can let that go and you can just sit down and say, you know what I'm trying to get out of this is try to figure out if you're a good fit for me. And listen, person in front of me, this is not about the yes or no, whether you're going to purchase. I just want to know, are we a good fit together? That's going to put that person in a relaxed state. It's going to put them at ease, which means that they're going to share the information that you need to know to help them see why you're going to be a great fit. And if you can do that, wow, that's going to be amazing. That's going to change it. Because if you can just take all that pressure off yourself, talk to this person like they're a human being, it's going to change your sales process. It's going to do wonders. It's going to, honestly, 2 or 3 times X closing the amount of people you see into new clients by just doing that one thing. This is absolutely huge, and I can't stress that enough. The next thing here, be helpful. Be encouraging. Stay on the side of, are you sure you want to do this? Is this really what you want? Because the more you try to push somebody, the more they sense that, the more they're going to pull back. However, the more you say, I'm not sure if this is for you, or do you really want to continue? I don't want you to feel like you're locked in here. The more you say stuff like that and the more comfortable the prospect feels, the more they're going to want to stay, the more they're going to open up, the more they're going to share. And the more information you have about this person who's in front of you, the better you understand them, the better you're going to be able to show them how you can help them. And this is really what it's all about. Because if you can really show this person in front of you how your process is going to help them get towards their goals, and you make it irresistible, like the irresistible offer that we talk about, there's no reason they're going to say no to you, really. The last 2 things kind of go hand in hand here. You want to play open-handed and honest, and also have an open door policy. Whenever people come in here and I do a sales meeting with them, I tell them off the very bat, listen, like an open door policy. If at any point in time you don't feel good or you don't want to be here, this isn't a good fit, you just let me know. I'm not going to take it poorly. You can just get up and walk out if you want, and I don't feel any less about you. Your time is valuable to me. My time is valuable to me. Your time is valuable to you. Let's make this a win-win the entire way. So if you want to go at any time, you just let me know. No strings attached. Are you okay with that? People, when they hear that, like they're not trapped, they open up. They're going to want to share with you, and they're going to want to work with you, because what are they used to? Pushing, make the sale. When you do the opposite of what other people are doing, when you nurture instead of push, amazing things happen. Let's get to our last topic, everyone. This is a big one. I want you to stick around and learn this stuff. Have you ever seen any of those Wild Wild West movies? Have you seen the movie Wild Wild West with Will Smith, Kevin Kline, Kenneth Branagh? I love that movie. It's one of my favorite 90s movies. Terrible. But it takes place in the Wild West. And why do they call it Wild West? Because it's very lawless. There's no rules. Everyone's kind of running and gunning. People are fearing for their lives. And there's usually some big baddie that kind of rules the town with an iron fist, and people are afraid of this person. Well, a lot of times you might not even realize it, but you are running your sales meetings like it's the Wild Wild West. People are coming in, and you're just kind of jumping into asking them questions. They don't really know necessarily what they're getting into. That makes people feel a little uncomfortable. And I might not even be using enough hyperbole. It makes people feel a lot uncomfortable. Because what happens when 2 people on different pages, conversations are clunky. Things don't feel good. Have you gone to a restaurant and said, I want steak, and they brought you out the different meal, and you're like, what's going on here? I ordered steak. And they're like, oh my goodness, the macaroni and cheese, I'm sorry. That kind of feels weird, right? Or even worse, you order steak, and they bring you the macaroni and cheese, and you say, I'm sorry, sir, I ordered steak. And they say, no, you want the macaroni and cheese. Trust me, that's what you want. It tastes better. You say, well, no, I want the steak. I know what I want. But someone's giving you something different? That's weird. It kind of feels funny. Anyways, what I'm getting at is, this is what it's like when you run your sales meetings without any kind of structure or without any kind of rules. And what it ends up feeling like is that you have to seal the deal. Seal the deal. Get this client. Make that bank. Make that cheddar. Doesn't really feel great, though, at the end of the day. But listen, I'm going to share with you some things that made a huge difference for me, that when I started doing them, honestly, took a lot of the stress off. It really set the professional relationship really, really well. And honestly, Taylor talked about this stuff in his presentation. He talked about valuing your time, valuing the client's time, being a professional. And this is going to be one of the best ways to set up those expectations, that relationship with that person in front of you. Before you even get into anything else, I want you to do this. So the person gets in, first thing you're going to do, chit chat a little bit, build a little rapport, make a little bit of a connection with these people, right? Make them feel at home before you jump into anything. Spend a couple minutes doing that, and then let them know that you're going to jump into, the sales meeting part of this. And right before you do that, here's what I want you to say. John, thank you so much for coming today. I would love to continue talking with you about this, but I would love to talk about you and trying to figure out if it's a good fit for you and I to be working together. But before we do that, is it okay if I share with you some of the things that I find help make this meeting go a little smoother, some things that are important to me? Would that be okay with you? Well, people, when you ask them questions like that, almost always say, yes, please share with me. And they're going to share with them the expectations that you have for that day, or very softly the rules. Now, I wouldn't say, hey, here are the rules of working with me today. That's going to be kind of abrasive. You just say to them, hey, here's some things that I find make this meeting work really, really well. And you're going to share some of these things with them. Tell them what you're going to be discussing if they have any questions. So, John, today I'm going to be asking a whole bunch of questions. I want to learn a little bit more about you and see if we're a good fit. The best way for me to do that is to ask you a whole bunch of questions and get to know you better. Is that going to be okay with you? Sure, that's fine, Glenn. Excellent. I also want to know if you have any questions and there's anything on your mind. So if you want to stop me at any point, if you feel like you want to know more, let me know. I'm happy to address your questions for you. Great, Glenn. That's awesome. Cool. Is there anything else? A few more small little things. So I just want to let you know, John, that I have an open door policy, which means that if any time you want to leave or take off, or you don't think this is a good fit, you just let me know. I'm happy to do that. I don't want you to feel like you've got to be here. I just want this to be a positive experience for you. Is that okay? You still all right with that? Yes, Glenn? That's perfectly fine with me. Awesome. Just a couple of those small things. I just want to let you know that I do have a 24-hour cancellation policy, which means that if you cancel on me within 24 hours of a session at any time, I do have to bill you for the session. And I just want to let you know that if I happen to cancel on you within 24 hours of the session as well, your next one's on me. It is a two-way streak because I do value your time. Are you willing to commit to that? Is that okay with you? Nope. Sounds fine with me. Sounds reasonable? Excellent. That's awesome. The last thing I want to share with you is something that's a bit of a challenge for me. One of the challenges I have openly is asking for money. It's been something that I've been dealing with since I was younger. I don't love asking for money. When we get to that step and we talk about what this might cost you, if I stumble over my words or I seem nervous, I just want you to let you know. It's not you, it's me. So if you don't mind just working with me through this challenge, I'd really, really appreciate it. These are kind of the things that I wanted to make sure that we're on the same page for today. Is this all okay with you? And when you phrase it like that, very openly, very honestly, you share all this stuff with them, you set up what the meeting's going to be about so you're on the same page, it makes everything go really, really well. It makes it go very, very swimmingly. And listen, you don't have to do all these different things. You can kind of do your own variation or your own version if you want. There are things that are important for you. I mean, talking about money just happens to be my biggest challenge. But if it doesn't happen to be your biggest challenge, share your biggest challenge. It could be something like, hey, I just want to let you know, John, that I'm not really great on one-on-one situations. I don't really do really, really good talking with people one-on-one. I get a little bit nervous. So for the first part of this meeting, if I feel like I'm stumbling over my words a little bit, or if I seem nervous, it's because I am just a little bit, but I want to assure you, it's not coming from you, it's just my own personal stuff. Can we work through this together? And if you go through your own setting of the foundation for your meeting, it's going to make you feel really comfortable. It's going to make the person in front of you, the prospect, feel really, really comfortable. It's going to really open you up to collect all the information you need to really connect with this person in front of you so that this meeting goes really swimmingly and really, really well for you. Now, what is all this based on? We go faster by ourselves, but further together. You may land a whole bunch of clients sooner doing things you're doing right now, faster, because you're selling them maybe a little bit more on their emotions. And maybe you're using a bit more of a pushing or hard sales process. But I can promise you, if you do things the way I've just showed you right now, and you develop your own system to connect, to relate these people, to make them feel comfortable, to find a way to make what you do work for them, they're going to want to work with you. And I'll tell you something, they're going to want to work with you for a long time. And that's really how you build a sustainable business, by finding the right people with the right message, with the right product, and then when they're in through the doors, you've got the right sales process to help show them why you're the exact right fit for them. Can't tell you enough how much this stuff changed my life. It really did 2 or 3 times the amount of people I was closing in terms of my sales, but not just closing, that's even a bad word for it, helping into my world and staying there. I don't really have to take on too many more new clients anymore. I mean, I've gotten some great referrals over the past 6 months since we opened back up here in Canada. I had to start my business from scratch again because I'd moved to this gym, this beautiful gym, and then 2 months later, we got shut down for COVID. But my numbers are almost back to full time in 6 months with an excellent marketing plan and then a sales process to mirror it. And so if you are someone like me where you're nervous about sales, you're frustrated because you're not sure if you're going to be able to put enough food on the table or pay your mortgage or pay your rent, because I mean, I've been there. I moved out of apartments because I couldn't pay my rent as a personal trainer. I took on an apartment that was way too much money. I couldn't pay for it. If you are like me, and you struggle with all this stuff, and you want to 2 or 3 times your sales process today and learn how to do all this stuff and feel really good about sales, like you're helping people and find sustainable clients, I want to help you with that. And so the first 3 people to comment sales in this chat here, they'll get 30-minute sales coaching call with me. I'm going to help you the best that I can, show you a process and show you how you can improve your sales. So everybody, my name is Glen here. I'm one of the mentors at Fitness Pro Mentors, as Brandon and Taylor said before, one of the lead mentors here. I love talking about sales. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I really want to help you. So please, if you have even an inkling of like, maybe I want some help, and you're seeing that there's still an opportunity to comment sales below, comment. Let's get the ball rolling for you. Don't think about it. Comment. Let's do it. Let's help you 2 or 3 times your income. Everybody, that's everything for me from here at Fitness Pro Mentors. We just want to make it rain. We're going to go to a brief break, and then Brandon's going to come in here and do his thing. You don't want to miss it. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. Comment sales below. I want to help you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brandon. I'm here to talk to you about 100K audience growth strategies. I'm really excited about this. By the way, if you are just tuning in now, you have to go back and check out Glen's presentation on simple sales tactics and Taylor's honoring your time, make more money for your time. I mean, honestly, both of these mentors are people that I look up to. They consistently challenge me, help me grow. I'm so honored to have them be a part of this team, both at Strata Internal Performance as expert personal trainers and as also mentors in the mentorship. So today I'm going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. And in reality, it's really something I think that should be important to all of you, depending on what your goals are. I want to talk to you about how to get to 6 figures a year. And so this presentation really is for anyone who's not hitting 6 figures a year, or maybe you're just bumping into it and you really want to go that next level. Or if you feel like you want to be a personal trainer with your own studio and your own team, and you want to get into that leadership role, we really got to figure out the best next steps. The simple systems in marketing are really where we're going to see all of that exponential growth. So I'm calling this 100K audience growth strategies. These are strategies that students of ours have consistently used to scale and grow and level up their business. So jumping into today, I want to briefly introduce myself to anyone that doesn't know who myself is, who I am. My name is Brandon Green. I'm the founder of Strata Internal Performance, Strata and Fitness Enterprise Incorporated, operating as Strata Internal Performance. I'm also the founder of Fitness Pro Mentors. And for both of these things, I want to just share that starting a business and being an entrepreneur was never on the radar for me. Ultimately, I really focus on where do I want to be? What are my goals in my personal life? How much money do I need? How do I help people better? And reverse engineering those goals in my town with my current situation and everything in this town, Newmarket, opening a gym seemed like a logical idea, even though that sounds a little bit crazy. So Strata Internal Performance focuses on working on seniors and people struggling with pains. We have an avatar we call Jane65, who is an affluent, knowledgeable woman who's got aches and pains in her body. She's tried everything to resolve those problems, and she is actively seeking solutions. She finds solutions with places like chiropractors, massage therapists, and other people, as you know, that fix some of these problems, but those problems keep coming back. So she's looking for a long-term solution that won't break the bank and ultimately is going to let her continue to do what she loves. And we built a pretty successful business over the last 7 years doing that with a very diverse team of trainers, and that has allowed me to move on to another problem, which is why I'm here speaking to you today. Fitness Pro Mentors is for you, the personal trainers who are really trying to figure out how you can make enough money to have the career that you deserve. There are trainers that you look up to that are already crushing it, and you know that they're crushing it. They're making a lot of money. They're buying Mustangs and have their own studios and whatever it is, and you're wondering, well, what is it? What makes them so lucky? And I'll tell you, they are not. They put the time in and they work. And so the thing that really pissed me off was I kept seeing amazing trainers like you leave the career. And so at this point, the mentorship is trying to teach you all of the marketing and business skills that you need in a mentorship view, both in a one-on-one personal training, one-on-one mentorship role, kind of like a personal trainer, and a group setting to encourage you to have every single piece of information you need to move forward and build a proper business system. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on mentors and private education. I've taken some incredible courses. You want to know which ones? Let me know. And they've all helped change my life, but I will tell you that everything I'm teaching in the mentorship is what allowed me to scale Strata Internal Performance as fast as I have, and our students that I'll show you in a minute have done the same thing. And here are some cool students of ours that are taking the system I'm going to talk to you about now, or at least parts of it, and have absolutely crushed it. They've done all the things that you've talked about. Sam Trotta increased $20,000 of personal training revenue within the first 3 months. He's continued on with us, and he's 3x'd his clients by the end of 2021 with a 98% retention rate. And so part of that comes down to he's an incredible trainer, but the systems that we've talked about are a big part of what has helped him excel that. And check out his interview for more information there. Eric Holtzman, he's consistently hitting 10 to 15K months. All the systems has helped his viewership, and people see him, and he's getting busier and busier. And at this point, he's a part of our leadership program. He's absolutely trying to hire his first team of trainers so he can scale and grow and get that passive income. Lewis, I absolutely love. We did an interview with him. He did one thing that brought an extra $2,000, and I thought that that's a very powerful thing, because in most cases that pays for a program like ours in a big way, puts a big chunk of money down. And with all the students, all the clients he got, he absolutely paid his membership off just from joining our program. And then Norley, I love. He's a younger guy, as you can tell here. He's just gorgeous looking, very good looking fella. And he's taken everything he learned and he opened his own gym. So if you resonate with any of these people, you're a gym owner, you want to make a ton more money, you're trying to scale and level up, you want to make some quick cash, or you want to open your own gym, these are real students. And if you ever want to talk to them or you want to learn more about them, I'll let you know about them and you can talk to them. But at the end of the day, everything we're going to talk about right now helps with that. So I want to do a quick satellite view of some of the things I'm going to talk about today. And so we have this thing that we call the FIST formula, which is our business system. And there are a few framings that will help set up this conversation. First and foremost, I love to talk about this thing in our mentorship called your CEO avatar. And one of the things for me, I'll tell you, I'm not a big fan of motivation. I'm always someone that, thank you to Tom Purvis, I always think about the commitment side of things. Where do I need to be if I see a pillar? If I have a pillar of I want to be at this point where I'm making this much money per year, I'm going to retire, I'm going to have a Corvette, I have a house here, I'm going to travel this many times a year, I'm going to take this much vacation. If I have this version of me with all of these things, how much money am I making? Who am I? what level of confidence will I have? What skills will I have? What weaknesses will I have? What are the things that I would have in my boss level CEO version of me? And the reason why I like to think about that is that when I face a daily common problem, like I'm sad, I'm not motivated, I'm struggling. I had a sale say no. I had a student say they were going to sign up with me and they don't come through. I got all these things that happen that are real common problems. The truth is the CEO avatar mindset gives me the perspective of going, okay, if I'm this person and that's where I'm going, how do I reverse engineer my beliefs and my traits today to get to that point? Ultimately, insecurity, fear, and emotion gets in a lot of our way, and it's a real thing. The CEO avatar mindset helps us and our students get past that so we can kind of bulldoze through it respectfully. We also need to know, going through this, I'm going to say this right up front, you need to know your numbers. Because at the end of the day, if you don't know how many clients you're getting, how much money you're making, how many hours you're doing, and how many hours/dollars you need to get to that next level of wealth, it's going to be a futile conversation. We need to know exactly where you're going and where you are. And if you got 25 hours of people book like Taylor talked about, and you got 8 of them that cancel, and that drops you down below how much revenue you need to pay your bills, we gotta really reverse that engineering right there and figure that out. We know who your client avatar is. With everything we're going to talk about here today, you need to know the demographic that you have. You heard me talk about my Jane 65 here at Strata, and we've got one of those for Fitness Pro mentors. It's probably you if you're watching it in a good way. And at the end of the day, all the communication, the advertising, and the messaging has to be geared towards that avatar, because ultimately, if I speak to everyone, I really speak to no one. I have to speak to someone, and I've taught myself how to speak to someone pretty well, which has helped both of these businesses grow in a pretty timely fashion. As such, once we know that, messaging, wording, language, all the simple words we use to describe problems for people, like helping you hit 10K years, 10K months rather, 10K years, 10K months, helping our students really level up, helping our clients have a pain-free life and move better and have a higher quality life so they can pick up their grandkids and not be worried about how much it's going to cost them in the future. If we know that, we can use those words in our social media content, our email templates, and whatever else it is that we use. That also translates into knowing what our irresistible offer is. And Glenn spoke about this today. You need to know what it is you sell, right? I sell personal training. Great. What is that? Well, that's a one-on-one service where you're providing a help you through it kind of scenario. You're offering consulting and guidance, and you're doing it in person. So there's absolutely a time component where you're with that individual. So you have to honor your time. That offer also includes an amount of guidance outside of the session. How many emails are you going to respond? What does that look like? At the end of the day, what is your offer? And then the thing is, if you know your offer and you want to make it better than your colleagues and your competitors, you can actually go, okay, this is what they're offering. This is what I'm offering. What else could I add onto my offer to increase my value? Most of us just focus on expertise and being better at our craft. That's very important, but there are certainly other things that we can do to help level this whole thing up. So that turns into this FIST formula, and I'm not going to spend much time on this, but I'll say this if you're watching this in the future. Comment FIST below, and I will tag you in a 45-minute video on our entire business system ecosystem. I think you'll absolutely love it. It will help you so much with the framing of knowing your business, but that's what we're kind of jumping into today, is we're going to take this FIST formula, and we're going to talk about how to take small components of this and level up your audience growth strategy so you can get busier faster and hit 6 figures as fast as possible. Hey, listen, if you're already making 6 figures and you want more clients, this is also for you. Now, one of the things that I learned from a mentor of mine, which I thought was such a simple but powerful idea, is this idea of knowing who your audience is. Once we grow our audience, which we're going to talk about now, how do we provide something called value pieces and connections to these people to truly make them feel like they're getting some benefit? I love the idea of value pieces, like a free piece of content or something that is truly geared towards a specific problem that someone may have. Because if you have this value piece idea, you can give it to someone, give away a tactic, an idea, a script, or whatever it is, a food plan that helps them change their life short term, gives them this one sound bite, one piece of information that changes and revolutionizes their life, maybe even solves one of their problems. And what this does is when you grow your audience, this takes the cold, warm to hot lead temperature system, and it starts to get more to the warm and hot because you've built trust. They know you, they now like you, and they trust you because you've given them some information to truly help them. This enters into a nurturing process, which is what Glenn talked about, which bridges into the sales process. Most of us are waiting for specific hot temperature leads coming into our world, which is absolutely fine. But the truth is you're going to have a much slower strategy with that. So we want to try and know who our audience is, grow our audience with the strategies we're going to talk about right now, share value pieces to absolutely help that crush that, and then honestly nurture those people, make friendship, build camaraderie, and then we can bridge into the sales process once we've pushed this along far enough. So this is a bit of a review from one of our other webinars, but I can't tell you how important it is. Build an online community. You want to grow an audience, kind of like this Facebook group, kind of like a lot of the groups that you've seen. Now, Facebook, every big business is using Facebook groups and Slack and other communities to try and grow their community. The reason why is it offers a private, exclusive environment with full autonomy to share your information, control your brand, control what information is in there, but at the same time, no like and trust factor times 10. People see you seen as an expert in this community, especially if you're doing a good job. I mean, once they join, you got to do a good job to maintain that expert status, but it helps you build a reputation, and I love the reputation by education example. Share as much information as you possibly can to build that trust factor so people 100% know, like, and trust you. I think that's a really powerful thing. So build an online community. You want to know more about that? Let me know. I've got a whole training on that we can send to you. Now, we have this 3-step content to client integration process, sales process, if you will. And Glen shared some really cool perspective around formal sales processes. And we have some incredible resources that we've learned over the last few years and even recently in sales land from a myriad of programs. If you're struggling with sales, reach out to us and we'd love to share you some of the courses that have helped revolutionize our life. But this 3-step content to client process is taking the audience strategies we're going to talk about in just a moment and helping this cold to warm to hot lead transition happen faster. If you're unfamiliar with those terms, there are different temperature leads, and each of these leads have a different amount of how much they realize what problem they have and what solution they have and who they want to see. For example, a hot referral is someone that knows the problem they have mostly, they know that they want a service like yours, and they've already vetted you through a referral or through Google reviews, and they think that you are the best person. And they reach out and say, Brandon, I want to work with you. Your job is to not blow it and make sure everything works beyond that point. So hot leads are great, but getting lots and lots of hot leads is tough. This cold to warm lead scenario is where about 60% of the business is. And honestly, this is where we're going to see the most exponential growth if we can take cold to warm to hot faster. A friend of mine's got a business that's enormous, and he'll talk about how cold leads sometimes take between 3 months and a year to end up purchasing something from the consistent education. Now, that's interesting, but if I had 100 people, 10 people even, that took a year to sign up into your business, and they did sign up, and you think about how much one client brings in, if each client brings in $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year, that's 10 people, that's $60,000 a year of business that takes a whole year to come just from you investing the time. So that means we need something like a community to catch those people so we can have that conversation and bring them along. And when we do promotions and relaunches or whatever it is, we are certainly in the right position to do that. So how we do that is we take an online community. Every person we meet, every person that's in our world that's a client and is not a client but interested, we put them in this community. We share a bunch of information and we offer a ton of value. And as we get conversations going, we offer a high value triage call. What's a triage call? I'm trying to give as much information away as possible to truly help people and customize the delivery. You can also use value pieces, like I said on the previous slide. And then if this goes well, there's a this or that strategy that we teach in our program. This moves into your formal sales process, no matter what it is. Glen threw out some great things, but if you have a sales process that's working, that's great. This is going to just help increase the temperature up into that process. Now let's talk about how to grow your strategies and try and get more people into your world. So first and foremost, the simplest thing that is going to be the obvious one, but I'm just going to blow past this one really quick, but give you some details, is referrals. Obviously, referrals is a very powerful way to grow your audience and get more clients in front of you. Now, truth be told, referrals, I want to talk about how to create a personalized referral culture. For me, I love when someone refers a client or someone refers 2 clients, a client of ours already. I try to figure out a personalized gift that I can give them that makes them happy, feel good, and that's just not cash, although that can work, and not a free session. I want to try to create a referral culture where people are excited to refer and they feel rewarded and excited, so to speak, to refer people to our business. Now, honestly, personalized jerseys, you can get inexpensive Timex watches with football teams on it. Like, all of that are great ideas, but I want to tell a really quick story that I have this client and he lives a mechanic and he is a great client and he's referred tons of people and he keeps referring tons and tons of people. And truth is, the things that he likes are expensive car parts, which is unfeasible for me. And then he also likes beer. Now, I'm not going to tell you to go buy beer for all your clients, but I tell you what I did do for this particular client is I did buy him a 2-4, which, by the way, looked hilarious sitting at the reception desk of Strata, but I gave it to him. And it meant a lot to him because he was going up north with his family and he got to enjoy the beer with his family. I'm not advocating for sharing alcohol in your business, but that personalized gift made him feel good, and he was really excited about the referral, and he consistently keeps referring people. So we want to work on optimizing referrals and learn how to ask for referrals. If you can ask for a referral strategically, like, hey, is there anyone in your world that you think could benefit from this? That open-ended question goes so far. But I would say first and foremost, referrals. Now, I also love this strategy. I'll tell you that this particular strategy is the fastest way that several of our clients have gotten more clients, several of our mentorship clients, and it's resurrections. We've got a whole system on resurrections that is insanely simple. But truth is, which I just learned this statistic from another one of our students, clients that have spent money in your place are 7 times more likely to repurchase. 7 times. So we're constantly always looking at reevaluating to bring in new people in. How do I get more people in my world? And that is very important. But how many old people do you have? We've got files of people over the last 7 years and longer from my training. I've been nearly 17 years as a trainer. Resurrecting people is an insanely powerful way. So do you have a strategy to resurrect zombies? Simple. But at the end of the day, in most cases, most trainers get in their own way. They're afraid of calling old clients, the fear of rejection, picking up the phone, whatever it is. I'll tell you, you got 100 inactive clients, people that were with you over the last 5 years, and you call a few each week, you will get a few. And truth is, as a trainer, you don't need that many clients to get super busy and hit 6 figures a year. So we gotta master resurrections. And the other one that I actually really love is within your community, your current clients, your friends or family, ask for complementary community connections who harbor your avatar. Now, that's a whole sentence, isn't it? I want you to ask your clients, do they have any chiropractors they see? Yoga, Pilates people that they see? Because if you can, and they're the same types of services that your business, like my Jane 65, you can absolutely go and do presentations and webinars at these businesses. A very simple thing. But you make connections, one each month, a chiropractor, a massage therapist, a yoga studio owner, whatever it is. If you make connections with them strategically and you build some form of referral network, 12 a year, that's it. All you need is those 12 people to refer one person a month ever, and that's 12 new clients in a year. That is absolutely worth the investment. So where do you find these incredible complementary community harboring service providers, right? Well, we got to look in the right places. Like our Jane 65, she joins town Facebook groups. That's powerful. She goes to yoga and Pilates. They're kind of similar, different, but similar. She wears Lululemon and loves Lululemon. She's what I would call an active seeker. She has chiropractor, physiotherapist, massage people that she sees, and she seeks fixers. Okay, so how do we go to these places? Complimentary Facebook groups, yoga places, Lululemons, and talk to these people. So ask your clients, hey, do you have a yoga studio that you love to go to? Or if you know they do, ask about it. Make those connections to get that information. So simple, but insanely powerful. Now, let's shift gears a little bit here because a lot of that was kind of in-house, what we call active in-house in the FIST formula. Now I want to jump into something called prospecting. Now, traditionally, prospecting, kind of sales land, is you are doing door-to-door sales and you're looking for suspects and trying to move them along to prospects. Okay, so what about this? So if I've got this Jane 65, right? This woman right here, my back has never felt better, right? She looks like someone you've probably worked with before. And most of these people, they're the right demographic, in my opinion. They've got the resources, they've got the problem, they're getting older, they got to stay stronger. So why are we always waiting for inbound traffic, the referrals? If you wait for inbound traffic, if you wait for the rain to come to you, you might be waiting a very long time. Sometimes they come in seasons where you get a bunch of referrals and then you get none. Great. What we need to do is we need to get better at outbound strategies and asking for connections and asking for clients and making connections with people who potentially could become clients. Should we wait for them or should we go to them? We have to be going to people. And if we start going to people, you will get busier faster. One of our students literally just got 28 new clients in 1 month using an outreach strategy. 28 clients, maybe more now. And I think that's absolutely incredible because if you just go out there and you offer something and you have an outreach script or plan that works really well, and we've got this or that script I've talked about. I'll tell you what, if you're listening to it and you want it, let me know and I will send you the this or that script. Very, very, very powerful and extremely simple. Now, there's a few things I'm going to dwell on this a little bit because I think this is a great one. And truth is, as we try to scale and grow a business, we want to make sure that we're being seen as the expert. Like Glen said, we don't want to be in commodity land. Commodity land is, do I want this burger or that burger, right? Hey, I want you to go get a fast food hamburger. Do you want McDonald's, Harvey's, Wendy's, so on and so on? Those burgers are all in the same category. They are commodity hamburgers. They're inexpensive, and they're interchangeable with one another with small differences in preferences. Most of them cost around the price, right? Same price. You can go to your local grocery store and pick up any steak and get a low quality piece of meat, and you'll know it'll be less money than if you go to a gourmet meat shop and you get a nice piece of prime rib. We want you to be the prime rib. You are the expert. And that's where, as an expert to a specific problem, you can charge expert consulting rates. If you are a commodity trainer and you're focusing on working on generalist demographics, you will have a gosh darn hard time ever getting past $80 an hour, let alone to $100 an hour. This is where having a niche and being an expert is so critical, because if you can get to that point, you can get over $100 an hour. And once you're over $100 an hour, it's extremely easy to hit 6 figures a year, and everything past that is gravy. So how do we get that expert status? Well, first and foremost, we have to know the avatar. We have to know your messaging. We already talked about that. Next, social proof wins. We need constant pieces of evidence, like I'm showing here with Ari, consistent pieces of evidence showcasing our students, your clients are absolutely winning. Most of you, if I said, hey, would you like 15 clients by 3 weeks, you'd say yes. Well, one of our students did that, and this is a perfect piece of social proof. You want a bigger and better business? Our mentorship is an incredible way to speed up that process. You probably can do it within a year, but I'll tell you what, we'll go faster within 3 months, and our students are perfect examples of this. Social proof, text messages, things showcasing wins, all of those are absolutely huge pieces to help move the needle forward and have people know trust. There's FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. People want to join in on the things that they see community and friends doing. Some of you know Ari, and you'll call me because of that, and I think that's very powerful. Very, very cool. And so borrowing authority is the next one. I want you to think about this. There are people. The Fitness Pro Mentors podcast has helped grow the group and help grow our business because I collaborate with partners in the industry, people I love and good friends, people I've been friends with for decades, which is crazy. And by going live with these people and collaborating or having them endorse my program, I'm borrowing their authority. It's incredible. I went live with Cassim Hansen, Greg Mack, Tom Purvis, Charlie McMillan, all these people I absolutely find very admirable in one way or another. And by hosting those people in this group, more people joined, and many of them speak positively about this business because they know how we're trying to make a change. That's borrowing authority. Frankly, the simplest example is if Arnold Schwarzenegger told every trainer they should take Fitness Pro Mentors. I wish that would happen. That would be awesome. That is absolutely his authority being borrowed and helping this program grow. Every commercial you've seen does that. And step number 3, when I talked about expert status, this is where you should be going live and doing things like this, like a webinar that talks specifically towards one problem, one topic, one person, and try to solve that problem. Consistently speak to that problem so you can showcase how powerful your business, your product, your services to help people. Listen, we don't get bodybuilders here at Strata Internal Performance, and I'm okay with that. We get people struggling with pain problems who want to keep exercising, be active, and want to live their life. That is a true goal, and that is a true niche. That's why in this town, there are many other personal training studios, and we still crush it because we lose business to those people who have different niches. But we should all have one target niche and one model, and that's how we grow. So I want to throw out a few pieces of bonus advice. So firstly, we need you to get expert status. Stand on the shoulders of giants. Get social proof. Consistently do webinars and presentations to put yourself in front of people. Have a way to leverage people inside your business. Get resurrections. Go out and prospect. Where are those people hanging out? Go to the Lululemons. Go to the chiropractors. Start conversations with people. And if you do all of that, I will tell you that in a short Cole's Notes, that exactly is what I've done to open up, to get all the money I needed to open Strata Internal Performance. And that was taking some of my marketing education in college and taking new modern marketing perspectives, smushing it together, and having a very simple system. If any one of those sound confusing or resonate with you and you want more information, let me know and I will share anything I can to help. But bonus advice, I would encourage you, you got money, stop doing certifications unless there's a certification that's specific to your avatar. What I'd say is invest in skills. Not just hands-on skills, exercise skills, but marketing skills, sales skills. Consistently invest into tech skills, automation. Learn more about all the things that will make your business go faster. I can record an entire course, push one button, and that's from learning about this tech stuff that you see here. I've also learned sales skills that let me do X, Y, and Z, communication skills, presentation skills. Invest in skills. That's where I love the mentorship, and there are sales programs that are equally as good, and so on and so forth. Invest in the skills you need. And if you're not getting where you want to get, ask someone, what skills do I need to get better at? Because your friends, your peers, your clients, they'll tell you. I'd also tell you, invest/find a goal-specific mentor. As a younger person, I had a mentor that had a lot of characteristics I looked up to, and several mentors that I would say that I definitely strive to be where they were at on all fronts: professional, relational, money, all of that. Now, as I've progressed in my career, there aren't too many people that are doing all the things that I want, someone that's kind of like a satellite mentor. But what I do is I find mentors who have specific attributes that will help me and that I admire and like. For example, I have a mentor right now that's working on audience growth strategies. I also have mentors on technical exercise stuff, mentors on sales, mentors on communication. Focus on finding goal-specific mentors and invest in them. And it doesn't need to be a financial investment. You may even have a friend of a successful business. Listen, proximity is power. And so if you have friends that are super successful, have $1 million business that involves some of the skills that you do, go learn them. Pay them for their time. Learn them. Or just say, hey, I would love to learn more about how you sell glass windows at $1 million price points. I'd love to learn more. And the last thing I would say that is kind of like the cheesiest, clichéist, but most important thing is make it rain every gosh darn day. Don't stop. You have to be consistent. I will tell you, I've had the opportunity to influence, educate, and support a ton of trainers over the year, and any one of them outside of a family problem or some other medical emergency that has not hit their marker is they have not continued to work on the problem areas, or they try it for a day and get frustrated or down on themselves. Listen, I'll tell you, my wife could attest that as of today, I got a few stressors on my plate. It is tough running 2 businesses and kids and juggling, and some days I wake up and I'm not feeling very motivated, but I'm committed to the goals I have to my family, my life, my business, my peers, my students, my clients, and they all help me drive to move forward. I am consistent. I try to make it rain every single day. I'd encourage you to do the same. No matter where you are in your world, keep making it rain. And so listen, if you've made it through this crazy presentation, I want to throw this out there to you. I want to try to help any of you grow your audience skills as fast as possible for free. So for the first 3 people that check this out and reach out to me, I will give you a 30-minute strategy call to determine exactly what you need to hit your first 100K year, or what you need to make sure it's absolutely as consistent as possible. But I will say this: profitable personal training, incredible. Taylor, Glen, myself, I'm really excited about this. Thank you all so much for watching. Please comment below what your favorite part was. Share it to a friend. And hey, if you know anyone that could benefit from the time triage that Taylor was talking about, simple sales tactics with Glen, or they want to hit their first 100K year, reach out to each one of us. And please invite a friend to the Fitness Pro Mentors Facebook group. I believe we're offering thousands of dollars of value. And if you don't think we are, please let me know, because I'd love to know how I can make sure we're offering more value for free. Because at the end of the day, there's one thing I care way more about than anything, and it's for people like you to have the careers that they deserve. So everyone, thank you so much. Brandon from Fitness Pro Mentors. I appreciate all of you, and I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your day.